Welcome back to Unstabled. This is the 53rd episode, and we're back from a little hiatus. It's been a few weeks, almost 3 weeks, but we're back. Took a little vacation because, the Colts kind of went on vacation week 17. I know they got to win week 18, but who cares? But we're back. We got Justin, as always, at Kingmaker_DFF. How have you been, man?
Oh, man, been pretty decent. Just getting to enjoy some winning football on TV.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. But I was about to get ahead of myself. We're both here in Houston, and we had a little snow flurry, some pretty low temps. I know people up north are like, y'all are pussies, but when you get 19 degrees here in Houston, that's not something we get all the time with snow, and you don't actually get to have too many snowball fights here, but it was fun. Kind of shut down the city for a day and a half, but
yeah, we gotta enjoy those moments.
Yeah, for sure. But we are at 74 subscribers, looking to get up to 100. Obviously, we more than that would be much appreciated, but right now the goal is 100. Help us get there. Likes, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Yeah. I had started a new job, so we've been I'll admit that I've been a little bit lacking on reels and whatnot, but I'm going to try to get back in the swing of that. So, little bit of vacation mode after the Colts, season mercifully came to an end. Yeah. And we got a little bit of a consolation prize when Gus Bradley was fired, and we didn't even really get like a bottom tier toy at the carnival in return. We got Lou Anarumo. I don't even know how to say his name. Anarumo.
Anarumo, yeah.
And my whole thing was, Chris Ballard, I talked about for like the last year and a half. I don't understand how he can keep his job if the Colts miss the playoffs this year. And here we are, missed the playoffs, less than 500. And Irsay is like, yeah, this is good. Like, we're clearly in the right direction. We like our guys. And it's, they fire Bradley. Steichen, I can kind of understand. I mean, we've all kind of had our issues with Steichen. Alex never really liked him. But I can understand, keeping him, year two. You don't want to go a head coach every year. I kind of get it.
Yeah, but stability, yeah.
I never liked the Bradley hire. I every once in a while I gave him some props here and there because it seemed like he was kind of changing his defensive scheme, and then he'd go right back to the same shit. So it was a long time coming for Gus Bradley, and then they replaced him with Gus Bradley.
Well, you said it perfect in the group chat. You called it, and I quote, "This is the lateraliest move they could have made." Yeah. I cracked up so hard when I read that because I was like, that is the hammer hitting the head of the nail right there.
I used to be in retail, and I worked at Sprouts, and it's like, man, I hate Sprouts. I hate this place. I'm leaving this place, and I'm going to Whole Foods. It's the same shit. 6, half dozen of one, 6 of another. It's the same shit. Right. And this guy, it might be slightly better. And excuse me, I can't get excited for maybe a little bit better. I just that doesn't tickle the pickle.
When I did the numbers on Lou, so for now I'll call him Sweet Lou, but you hit it earlier when you called him Loser.
Yeah.
I think that we'll see if that that name's gonna stick. We'll give him the season and see if the defense improves.
They can't get
the numbers aren't great, man. Like, I'm gonna tell you, when you said lateraliest, you weren't kidding. Like, he's only been with the Bengals, I think, 3 or 4 years, something like that. And in his press conference, he kind of took credit for a lot of stuff that they did, like their AFC Championship games or Super Bowl appearance. And I was like, oh man, like, that's kind of bold to make those statements when you had Joe Burrow like on fire that year. Yeah, you've got some studs, man.
But if that's the case, then what's the excuse this year? Because Joe Burrow had if they made the playoffs, I feel like we'd be talking, MVP for Burrow. Yeah. And Jamar Chase had a hell of a season. And I don't remember their record, but obviously they missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it's because their defense was so bad. And then the Colts are like, yeah, this is the guy.
Like so bad that they let him go. So it's not like we stole the Bengals defensive coordinator. They had already let him go. They had already let him go from the team. So it's not like we're sitting here saying, "Oh, we stole him." No, he was unemployed already.
Like no one was beating down the door. No one was beating down his door to hire this guy.
Chances are, like, he wouldn't have gotten this high of a job, like a defensive coordinator job.
Probably not.
That's usually not how it goes. Unless you were good and then you had to slide for a couple of years. Like people are knocking down the door to try and interview Robert Saleh. Like that's like, just the truth.
I don't know where the Jacksonville Jaguars stand. I think he was being interviewed for head coach there. I think he was interviewed for head coach.
And then they what was the other guy that they interviewed today? It was he's got a short name. But anyway, I'll come back to that. But the numbers for Lou are not great. 49ers are expected to hire Robert Saleh as their defensive coordinator.
I was just reading that.
So here's the numbers.
That's exactly what the 49ers need is.
Yeah.
Get even better. All right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Robert Saleh, wasn't he the defensive coordinator for the 49ers at one point?
Yeah, he's in talks to go. Yeah, they're saying I expect him to be rehired. So, he was their defensive coordinator.
Hey, that defense was on fire when he was their DC. So
they were on fire with the Jets. He had no reason to get fired from the Jets.
Yeah, no, that was Aaron Rodgers bullshit.
Yeah.
So the numbers for Sweet Lou, all right, they're not great, right?
No.
They're a hair better than the Colts were. So he's been with the Bengals since 2019. Okay, so 4 or 5 seasons, something like that. As they're in the defensive landscape, whether it be DBs or defensive coordinator. So with that said, now in 2024, because we can only go by what have you done for me lately, right? So we're not going to look at the AFC Championship games. We're not going to look at the Super Bowl. We're not going to look at all that stuff. But they do count on the resume, so you have to give them credit.
That year was a good year, and then everything surrounding it was bad. If you look at it, it was like I think it was like 7th overall the year that they went to the Super Bowl, and then it was the highest his defense ranked was like 17th beyond that. It's just better than Bradley, but bar is low.
Whoa, yeah, better than Bradley. That's a lot. So there's a lot,
but the bar's low.
Yeah, there's a lot better than Bradley. But yeah, so looking at the rest of the numbers, so total defense. Okay, so the Bengals finished in total 25th overall. Colts were 29th. Okay, so like I said, not too much better. Okay, so I hope that wasn't your selling point, right? Passing defense, 21st. Colts were 26th. So right behind them. Okay, his passing defense allowed 223.5 yards per game and 30 touchdowns. So rushing defense, 19th. Okay, this is probably the biggest gap they've had between the Colts and because the Colts were 24th. All right, so his defense allowed 124.8 yards per game and 20 touchdowns on the ground. So not great, right? But middle of the pack, but not great. Now his red zone, 30th. This dude's almost dead last. So this is the only stat that the Colts did better than the Bengals defense is in the red zone. His team scored 67.9% on his defense in the red zone. Not great. So it doesn't help you give you that good tingly feeling when you're on defense in the red zone. The chances are pretty high that the other team's going to score. The Colts were 23rd with a 60.7. So again, not amazing, but still better, right? On third downs, the Bengals were 23rd. So again, lower middle pack. So pretty much bottom half. Let's just safely say bottom half. They were 42% was the percentage that other teams converted third downs were 42%. The Colts were 30th with 44.4. Those percentages are close, but close enough to make it to where it's 7. So if that tells you in the league how much those little stats can add up. So looking at all these numbers, Lou Anarumo's Bengals defense was not that much better than the Colts defense this year. So your lateraliest move, pretty spot on, bro.
Like, so a couple of points that I want to make and kind of just piggybacking on what you're saying. My biggest concern with those stats that you read off is the Colts did not have as good of an offense as the Bengals had, obviously.
Right.
And his defense was still that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a good offense can really help a defense.
Right.
It was on display with the Colts that this offense hurt our defense. And I'm not trying to bail out Gus Bradley because he was also an awful play caller for defense. But the fact that our offense was so stagnant and inconsistent when the Bengals offense wasn't, that should have bailed him out of some games that didn't. The fact that our offense potentially could come in worse than what the Bengals have, and he was still right about where the Colts, that's concerning. Like, that's
very concerning.
Very concerning to me.
Yeah.
And like the other thing with that I wanted to make a point on was Chris Ballard. And if he had come out, because he said at the beginning of this season or last season that if this is the roster that gets me fired, so be it. We love our guys. He was a cliche, machine. And I really thought that this would be the end of last year, like should have been the end.
We were all hoping that.
Yeah. And the Colts fell on their faces, with a thud again this season, and he's still here. I can't explain it, justify it. But if he had come out and said, you know what, I fucked up. Like, I wasn't aggressive enough. I understand these things. I know we needed to clean up our secondary. I know there were moves that needed to be made. And I said I liked our guys, and I dropped the ball. I should have brought in people. If he had just taken some fucking responsibility and said, you know what, I messed up. I'm going to change these things. And you know what? I'm going to back a semi up to Robert Saleh's house that's full of cash. Yeah. And I want this defense to be better. And instead we get this fucking guy who's bargain bin Ballard. And
again, after he comes out with the conference and says he's going to do all these things, be more aggressive, and then you do the same thing that you always do.
Yeah. You went out and got another yes man, another guy that's just going to be like, yes, Chris Ballard. And I already know what's going to happen going into this offseason. We know we need a corner. We know we probably need a safety. We need a linebacker. We need a tight end. I don't know if we really we need some more depth on the offensive line. At times they look terrible. I mean, they were starting 3 rookies, so I kind of give,
We may have a huge concern on offensive line if things do not go our way. I don't know if the fans have really looked at that, but there's a chance. We've got 3 guys that will not be back.
Yeah. I don't think Kelly's coming back. Obvious, and I hate that we wasted Quentin Nelson's career, but he's on the back 9, and he had he was he still had he made All Pro this year, but he still had a couple of rough games in there in between where he was hit with
a future Hall of Famer that you just wasted his career.
You wasted that man's career. You wasted Kelly's career. Now you've got, I think, a lot of talent in Bernard Ryman. I think Bordolini was solid. I think Goncalves was solid wherever he played. I thought he was really good. But it's
for him to come in as a rookie and step in the way he did, kudos to him, man. That shows good. Even if you don't get another a good shot in your rookie deal with the Colts, another team's going to see that and they're going to bring you in and give you a shot.
I just don't have a lot of faith in that right guard. I don't have faith in Braden Smith to stay healthy. There's concerns there, but this also leads me to believe that Ballard is going to do the Ballardiest thing with the 14th pick and either drop back or he's going to be like, I'm going to take an edge or I'm going to take, a guard. Right now, the 2 biggest positions that are screaming in my face, I don't trust Juju Brents to stay healthy. I think he's played 5 games in his career. Yeah. I like Jalen Jones as a 2. I think Womack has earned a spot on the roster. Obviously, Kenny Moore's our slot corner. I have no beef with Kenny Moore. I don't trust Juju Brents to be the one because he hasn't been on the field. He has the size, speed, athleticism to be everything you want in a corner, but he's never there.
Right.
So corner is probably my biggest issue. And then tight end. Our tight end group sucks. I think Mo Alley Cox can block, but
we don't have We
They
don't
suck.
have an NFL starter caliber
No.
tight end on the roster, and that's why a lot of fans and even a lot of analysts are pushing for the Colts to draft Tyler Warren in the first round. I mean, I can see it. I can see how it helps us. It definitely gives Anthony Richardson another weapon, especially since he was so bad in those short to intermediate throws. That would help him out a lot to give him a quality target. But then again, Josh Downs eats right there, So they've got to work. We've already talked about A.D. Mitchell, but yeah, the tight end position, like that's something we have to address. Not we should, like we have to. We have to figure that out because we don't have a quality guy. Grancy can't catch a cold. Mallory has not lived up to his potential, which breaks my heart. Mo Alley Cox is not a starter in the NFL.
He should have been gone 3 years ago. I've said it every year. I don't know how he keeps a roster spot.
Yeah. We just have a bunch of just random people playing tight end.
Yeah.
Like Will Mallory's the only one that even had like any kind of name, like big name coming out of college. And they've pretty much wasted him, or he's wasted his career, like however you want to call it. But yeah, you're right, dude. Tight end's one of them. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. Your next one was what?
No, you're good. And of course, Jelani Woods, another guy, all the potential in the world, the size, the athleticism, the freak speed, can't stay on the field. Like I would say, based on his size and speed, he should be a tight end one on most rosters.
Yeah.
He can't be on the field. Same with Juju Brents. Like I just have no faith. Like we're gonna ride with Jelani. Should we? Like if he can stay healthy, he can be tight end too. Like if he can stay healthy, he can be our second tight end, and then it's a prove it. But
right.
I've got no faith in either of them. And then you got to look at safety, and then you got to look at linebacker.
No one can blame you for not having faith, man. If someone's not giving you a reason to believe in them, don't believe in them.
Yeah.
Like how's that old saying go? Like fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Like come on, man. Like when are we gonna learn this lesson?
And I know a lot of people out there are, quarterback is the worst position, and it was like it's hard to fight it. Like again, Anthony Richardson, half the time not available, and some of the time when he was there, he wasn't available.
Like your franchise quarterback, man. Come on.
Yeah, he did get better after the tap out, but I mean, again, like bar kind of low, like it was pretty bad. Going into that, but all you could do was improve, I guess. But it's like this team I thought would be close to competing, and this season was a reality slap that man, they're what 8-9 or whatever, but it didn't feel like they won 8 games this year. It's just
no. I think it's because they didn't deserve to win 8 games.
No,
I mean, but I have to agree with something that Ballard said in his press conference after he basically was read the riot act by the Irsay family. Is I agree in the fact that Anthony Richardson did show some good things. We did see what we all thought he could do.
Mm-hmm.
He just wasn't able to put that together all the way.
Could you imagine the season that could have been if Anthony Richardson played like Anthony Richardson did against the Patriots on that last drive? Like if we got that Anthony Richardson most of the season, it would have been way different.
Way different, yeah.
But it's his ability to put that. Like we were so used to like Peyton Manning being able to do that week in and week out. Andrew Luck week in and week out. Now it's like Anthony Richardson. It's like few and far between performances like that, and it's like.
And it sucks that we're going to have to get used to that,
But how many times are we going to have to say, this has got to be the leap year? This has got to be the year he puts, it gets old.
Well, I think it's a pretty foregone kind of conclusion that he's got one. This is his last year. Like for Ballard and Richardson, like you've got Richardson on a rookie deal. So you could get his 5th year, right? Mm-hmm. But they could also get out of it or trade him. Because at this point, like, even if he comes out and does bad next year, he still has like Justin Fields value. Like they're gonna say, oh well, Justin Fields looked good in Pittsburgh, which he did, right? But that I don't think Justin Fields was the issue of Justin Fields. I think it was more of the Bears, plus Justin Fields was still learning how to play in the NFL, which not all these kids are coming out ready for the NFL game. That's what a lot of people don't realize. The NFL is way different than college. Just because you won a Heisman in college doesn't mean you're going to be anything. Like, how many Heismans have we had that come into the NFL and just bust? Like, come on, man. It's a different game.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know, man. I usually go into every season hopeful and optimistic. There's like, oh, it's a new season. Anything can happen. And it's like, I just feel like I know that Ballard is going to do the same Ballard thing.
Yeah.
And it's,
you're not wrong.
It's so difficult to get excited for 2025 season. Like, of course I'm going to watch. Of course I love football. Like, I'm not like, I'm done with the team. Right. I'm not like, I'm not jumping off the bridge, but
right.
I'm just prove it, man. Like, how are you going to get people to buy tickets and shit when you're going, like, are you going to run it back again from 2024? Is that what we're going to do here?
Right. Let's not do that.
Like, he's going to, and I'm not saying for him to go full blown Grayson. I like the idea of building your team through the draft. It's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
But they also need to understand that teams that are making the Super Bowl fill pieces in free agency, because you can't build a 53-man roster through the draft. Like, you can't do that.
No, you're right. You can't. And that's where Chris Ballard's got to do his thing. But with Sweet Lou coming in, I think there's going to be a shift with that first pick. Like, whereas a lot of mock drafts were saying, hey, Tyler Warren's going to be the Colts' first pick at tight end. Now I think we may be looking at Malachi Starks, because I think Lou's going to be selling this thing to, hey, like, we need to beef up the secondary. Because in his conference, he said that everything starts up front. Well, first off, no crap. Okay, he said a lot of things that were just word salad. Like, this, everybody says the same thing over and over. Yeah. He said a lot of that.
Games are won in the trenches.
Right. Like, we know that, bro. But good thing is our defensive line, we don't have a problem with that. That's the last thing that we need to touch on the defense right now. If you want to bring in a veteran through free agency or something to maybe bring to mentor Latu, but that's what Buckner's there for.
Yeah.
And so I don't think we need to do that.
I think Gus Bradley had him really handcuffed. Like, he was only out there with like 50% of the snaps, something like that. It was not a lot. And I just think he wasn't used properly for his size and speed. Like, they had him down in the 3-point stance every single play. And I feel like he should have been used more in the kind of more of a stand-up edge, like it kind of as a fifth man, but he only brought 4. Like, he's not going to – his style doesn't fit the size that he is for the NFL. Like, if he gain some weight, gain some mass, okay, maybe. But the way that he is, he's more of – I don't want to say like a gadget player. I don't know how – but he should be doing different types of rushes instead of just bull rushing. And that's
you're talking
really
about Latu, right?
Yeah.
Still talking about Latu? Yeah. I mean, the dude's a finesse pass rusher.
Yeah.
Let him do it. Let him. Hopefully, Lou can understand that, because he did blitz a lot. Even though his last season he ran a lot less blitzes. Now how do I put this? So he had a really good player in Cincinnati, who led the league in sacks, and on this pace could go on to be a potential Hall of Famer. We'll see him in the Pro Bowl this year. I'm talking about Hendrickson. And so the thing is you can't give coaches credit for great players being great players. Now, can they bring in a little bit of that knowledge? Yes. Of course, like, a coach's job is to get a player where they cannot get themselves. Right. So there's stuff that he's learned in his career that certain players don't know. But to be able to, in your interview, say, oh, I helped in this development. Well, one, we don't know if that's true, first off, because some of these players already come out great. It's just, man. Okay, so I'm not going to get into all that. We can save that for another time. But with his history being a defensive backs coach, I think the focus is going to be on the defense, on our defensive backs, whether it be corners or safeties. That's where we need a lot of help. And we're going to probably need to bring in another linebacker, maybe a day 3 guy, day 4 guy that is a pretty good edge rusher or can do well in coverage. So like a drop back linebacker, which would be awesome, because EJ Speed is just hot dog water, and should not be wearing the horseshoe next year. But that's why I'm thinking Lou's gonna talk him into taking Malachi Starks in the first round if he falls to us. I'd be good either way with Starks or Warren, because I think both of those positions will fill a need, not a want, but a need.
Well, I mean, and at 14, I think either of those players would be good at that pick. Like, just like, you know, they have a ranking system for where they're taken based on, like, they say that if you take the best player on the board, like, you don't vote for need, you vote for, or you don't vote for, need, you vote for the best player, or you go for the best player. But at 14, those two would be the best player on the board, either Warren or him. So it's like, and you need them. And that's kind of the problem that the Colts have right now, is that they have a lot of needs. Like, I'm not saying that, you know, we could do, you know, hindsight and say, you know, they probably shouldn't have signed Leonard and they probably should have re-signed Okereke. I'm not saying he's exactly lighting up the world for the Giants, but the situation would have been much better right now at linebacker with Okereke than obviously if we had
keeping him in Leonard. A system that he knows and he did well in. I'm not saying he lit the world on fire, but like you can't underestimate how good a player is going to do continuing to stay in the same system. Because the more years you have, that's less you have to think about that, because it's in your brain already. You know, so
like I'm not outside of, and even Franklin, he had some issues, missed tackle. He's not very good in coverage. He's a good tackler. Like, he knows how to shoot the gap. He can get in the backfield fast. Like, he's a really good run stuffing backer. Like, he's fast to the ball, but he's a liability in coverage. And beyond him, I'm not excited about our linebackers. Like, I'm not really excited about our safeties. Like, I think,
the only person in secondary that I'm okay with is Kenny Moore. That's it. Outside of that, you know, I mean, you know, maybe Juju Brents, but as far as excited, it's Kenny Moore, and that's it. And it's not even close for me.
It's a drop off after like Jalen Jones, for where he was drafted and how he performed, he was a very pleasant surprise in the secondary, but he still got beat. He still, you know, it was expected. He was like, what, a 6th round, 7th round pick. So, I mean, he wasn't going to be
late round guys that don't cost you anything. When they do average or above, like, that's a hit in my eyes. That's a hit.
I'm comfortable with him being the corner too, but we don't have a number 1 corner. You could say Juju, he's never on the field. We don't have a corner 1. Like, we're just being we need a corner, need a safety, need a linebacker, need a tight end, maybe need a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to looking at the roster. Year, defense is our biggest concern right now. On offense, for me, it's really just tight end on offense. Like, that's it.
I think, honestly, like, tight end is the biggest business. I know our secondary's cheeks. I know, but like, tight ends are what's supposed to block and bail out the quarterback. And we had no tight end. No. And when he did throw it to him, they dropped the fucking ball. Our tight ends were so bad. All you can do is laugh at them. It was terrible.
Yeah, that's going to have to be addressed. I think that's where Shane needs to step in and be like, okay, I'm taking the lead on this, because he comes from an offensive mindset. So, like, don't mess with the defense. Let's see what Lou can do, because he was talking about, if you have the right guys and you can make this and that. Well, first off, no shit. If you got Peyton Manning behind you, you can run pretty much any passing offense you want to.
Yeah.
All right. But so that's some of the things that he was saying was like, bro, all right, John Madden, no crap. We know this is basic football 101. Here's a guy
that if he wears glasses, he sees better.
Exactly. I mean, so I jotted down some quotes, and when you're ready, I'll love to go over some of those with you.
It just reminds me, every time we get into an argument with anybody else in the AFC South, and Eric being here, kind of just, it's like, your Super Bowl came with Peyton Manning, and it's like, oh, surprise, you win a Super Bowl with a pro quarterback.
Yeah.
And we were, AFC Championship game with Andrew Luck, so it's like, but our last Super Bowl came with a a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
You can't name too many Hall of Fame quarterbacks that didn't win a Super Bowl. I
It's
think
hard.
the list
Yeah.
really begins and ends with like Dan Marino.
That's it. I was just gonna say Dan's it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no shit. Oh yeah, we won a Super Bowl in the Peyton Manning years. Like,
yeah, if you have Peyton Manning on your team, you better win at least one Super Bowl.
Don't at me, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So went to 2, won 1 with Peyton. So you can't say anything bad about that. But the right players, yeah, that's just something
shit.
I just thought was crazy with the right players.
Yeah. Like, am I expecting in free agency or something like that for there to be like a Darrelle Revis in his prime hit free? And no. But fuck, man, you got to do something. Like,
yes.
That little stick figure thing where it's, you know, poking the rock or whatever, do something. That's what we're all doing to Chris Ballard. Like, do something. Like, free agency. He sits on his hands. I'm going to resign when we're going to run it back, and that's my worry going into the new. Is that, and if that happens, I'm not gonna.
Did you watch the whole
10 games,
Ballard?
No.
So go back and watch that, and you'll see like it definitely looks like. And now at the time, because after this Lou hiring, I'm not so sure that
same song and dance.
Really stuck. Right. I think he kind of knows that it's going to happen next year, so he's just hiring a guy. But in that press conference, he came in there with a lot of humility, and what I mean by that is he wasn't cocky and arrogant. You could definitely tell that they told him like, "Hey, this is it. If you don't get us a playoff appearance, you're gone." And that was all over his. Yeah. And that was all over his face. And he was talking about how aggressive he's going to be and how, I'm hard-headed on this and all that. But then again, he turns around and says, well, I think I'm a pretty good judge of talent. I'm thinking I'm this. I'm like, hold on, bro. Like, no, you can't say like you're all these bad things and then counteract and say, I know this. I know this. I know this. It's like, no, man. Like,
I defended Ballard for about 4 years because honestly, his drafting to me, up until pretty much this year, if you just look at the draft this year, it's kind of a bust. I mean, obviously the verdict's out on Latu. I think he was very underutilized, but based on production and if you look and if you're stat watching, this draft class sucked. They didn't perform this year, and I think 3 of his draft picks were off the roster before the season began. Not even on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Like this was not a good draft for Ballard. Like if Latu, I think there's a ton of potential in Latu. I think there's a ton of potential in Adonai Mitchell, but he looked bad. Like he couldn't catch anything. He he had a couple of big plays, but it's just overall this draft was not good. Before that, I mean he hit Zaire Franklin was a 7. Jalen Jones was a 6. Like he found talent deep in draft. Like he went and got Pittman and Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. Both.
Well, those are pretty
second to do it.
So those were good players coming out of college already. Yeah. So if he wouldn't have hit on that, like when we drafted Jonathan Taylor, I think I've told you before, I ran around my house screaming and yelling. I was so excited. Because I liked him in college. He was a beast in college.
So I defended his build through the draft. I defended his drafting. I defended him because of how he drafted. But it's like after the last couple of years when that shit, like I really thought I felt for a little while there, we really were just a quarterback away.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it seems like we got the guy that they wanted, and we just got further away.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he's still here. Your building through the draft hasn't fucking worked.
Yeah. So there's some names on this upcoming free agents list that if he doesn't get these guys in the building to at least talk, then I'm out. Because if we're hurting at cornerback and you don't bring in DJ Reed from the Jets, what are you doing? And
now people need to understand that you don't have the salary cap to sign every free agent.
Right.
Like you can't do that. And there are other situations. Indianapolis is not like a destination. Like no one says, "Oh yeah, I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks." Where are you going? Indianapolis. Like no one, unless if you have like family there. It's not a destination. It's not a big market. There's state taxes. There's a whole bunch of stuff that comes into play where you have to pay more Like kind of like the situation Jacksonville was in. You got to pay more for average players. I'm looking at Christian Kirk, the contracts like that. You got to pay people to want to play there. And it's even worse because we're not in Jacksonville. Like we don't have the beaches. You don't have all of that. So there's got to be something that drives these players to Indianapolis. And back in the past, like you had Peyton Manning, you had Andrew Luck, you had reasons that this talent are any players in free agency. Like Richardson's taken us to the Super Bowl. He's the draw that I want.
No,
like, are they looking at this team like that?
The only selling points outside of money that Indianapolis has to offer is one, we have a great fan base. Two, we have a top of the line stadium. Like I get it, it's no like AT&T Jerry World or whatever, but Lucas Oil was Jerry World before Jerry built his monstrosity out there. Okay, so we still have the latest technology, the nice facility, all that stuff like that.
I mean, there's a reason that the combine's always in Indy. There's like it's a great like sports host, and there's a reason like there's 3 huge WWE events coming in. Like it's a great stadium. People in events like that don't choose places for no reason. Mm-hmm. So there clearly is a reason why that all those things are at this place. So we have the accommodations. You know, the locker room is immaculate. The owner, good thing is the owner thinks he's like part of the team. So he's not going to be sitting there looking over you like, oh, well, you didn't do this good. Like he's going to be like, oh, here, have a drink, whatever, like that. So, but here's a drink. Here's a line of cocaine.
Most of the time, Irsay's drunk enough to say, yeah, give him that much money, right? So that's good. That's good. That's what we want. But the thing is we have some appealing traits in Indianapolis as far as like the facility and all that stuff like that. The community is really good too, from what I hear. I don't live there. I don't know. But Pat McAfee just loves Indianapolis so much.
But the question is like, okay.
And that's another one. Pat McAfee. You go to the Pat McAfee show every week.
Oh yeah. But if you want money and you want nice facilities or whatever, okay, then Indianapolis. But if you go, you know, I didn't sign with my team or they didn't resign me. Mm-hmm. I want to win the chip, man. And are you signing with Indianapolis for that reason?
No, at least not right now.
No,
because we don't have that. We're like Chris Ballard said in his conference, we're not even close. Which is funny because a year ago he said we're close.
We were right there, baby.
Right. But in his press conference he said, and this is his words. He said close means that we lost the Super Bowl. He said that's close.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're at the Super Bowl, like you're there, you know.
We were out of the division in week 17.
Yeah, so
that is not close.
Yeah, we're not even close. We're not anywhere near close, and I'm glad he acknowledged that. He did acknowledge some things. It just took him too long, and I don't understand that mindset. Like, I get it, you believe in your guys, but if you're halfway through the season, you're like, shit, it's not working. You know, but that's a pride thing, and he said that was a pride thing.
The year that they went and drafted Anthony Richardson was the year that he should have sold the fucking farm. Moved up in the draft, went free agent, done everything he possibly could to load around their rookie. Was what he should. We had the good. I mean, our line has been
or move up for CJ Stroud.
Yeah, but that was not going to happen.
No.
But it's so frustrating to know that a quick turnaround is possible, and you look at how bad like Washington was. And I think it's a good segue to the championship games. Bro. You look at how bad Washington was for so long. And then they go and grab Jaden Daniels, who has looked really good, like kind of what we hoped Anthony Richardson would look like. And, now they're in the NFC Championship like that. It's just – it's
because they built their offense around their quarterback. They're not asking their mobile quarterback who, Anthony Richardson's got a cannon, right? But he has no like little gun rifles to shoot medium shots. He can only shoot that howitzer down the street, you know? Yeah. So that's the problem is you didn't build around that. You still think like, oh, okay, we can just run the same offense and it's no problem.
Just
no, bro, you can't.
Alec Pierce is down there somewhere. Like that's that Miami Tua Tyreek Hill shit. Like how far did it get them? So you can't rely on that shit. You can't And like you said, they didn't build around him. And then when they said all chips are in, you still didn't do. He doesn't even have a tight end. Like he's got nothing. I mean, you've got Jonathan Taylor, but I mean, they don't know how to use him. They pulled him in the fourth quarter. This team is so frustrating. And it's, you could make the argument, okay, well, they were, 6 point. They lost to the Texans by a combined 5 points. Okay, so they were 6 or 7 points away from winning the division.
That's still 2 losses, though, at the end of the day.
That's 2 losses. Doesn't fucking matter. Fast fear. Inch or a mile.
Stop talking about shoulda, coulda, woulda, or almost, right?
We lost.
Like, what do they say? What's that old saying? Almost counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah,
like
that. Almost is still a loss, bud, and and that just tells me that you weren't good enough to close a game out. Yeah. That's all that tells me. You're not close. Your defense was abysmal. And you ran it back, and then they were bad again. It's just the strength should have been the front seven, and they got less sacks.
The only time you should ever run it back is if you just won the Super Bowl and you have everybody coming back. That's the only time you can run it back. If you didn't win shit, what are you running back? There's nothing to run back if you didn't win anything. So for Chris Ballard to even say that and have that mindset, bro, what are you thinking?
That was heavy arrogance. I know that this team is a Super Bowl team. I'm going to re-sign them all, and I'm going to prove everybody, that we won games.
Big ego. And
that was a huge ego trip.
Right, and anybody who watched the press conference, you can see it on his face. Now, that was that day. It almost seems like he walked out of the Irsay's office and walked straight to the press conference because the fool was late to his own press conference. They had to wait on him when you called the press conference. But the thing that doesn't make sense to me is all that you said all this in your press conference, and then you go, boom, you hire right. Lou. At that point, just keep Gus Bradley. At least the guys already know his system.
Well, doesn't Lou run the same fucking system too? He just blitzes a little more often.
What's funny is he mentioned something about his system and how he likes to coach. So this is what he said, that he, and I quote, changes the scheme and system based on the game plan. Let me say that again. He changes his scheme and system based on the game plan. Now, doesn't that sound just like everybody else? Like, hey, we're playing this team who's really good on. Yeah, it's like this team's really good on offense. We should. I mean, excuse me, really good on the ground, running the ball. We should focus our defense around that. That's what everybody does.
It's no shit. It's when your defense isn't working, how quickly can you adjust your game plan to that? Adjust your scheme.
There's not a rule that says you have to wait till halftime. There's no rule for that. You can say,
hey, guys, by drive.
Yeah. It's like, guys, we talked about this in practice this week. Let's do that. Let's do what we talked about. Let's adjust. Even if it's 5 minutes in the first quarter and you're like, oh, crap, San Francisco's not doing what we thought they were going to do on film. Adjust. There's not a rule. You got to wait till halftime.
Maybe if we keep running the same defense, eventually they're going to call an offense that fits right into where we want them.
Right.
That was Gus Bradley. Maybe they'll finally run an offense to favor our defense.
Yeah, and what was another quote that he said? He said, "We want to play smart, fast, and physical." Again, everybody says that and wants that. That's dude, say something original. It's like you're just reading off a script. You went and watched 5 different press conferences of the most recent defensive coordinators, and you just wrote down some notes and said, all right, these are my talking points. This is what I'm going to say. It's like, dude, we heard that from Gus Bradley. We heard that from the guy before. We heard that from the guy before. Yeah, right? Like, dude. Tell you what, surprise me. Lie to me. Say something stupid. At least tell me something new.
That's why I like the Miami head coach. He's so dry and so sarcastic, and people are like, I can't believe the joke is a head coach. I'm like, dude, I fucking love his personality. He's playing with those press people. It's amazing. I'm like, I wouldn't mind some answers like that. Yeah, we need to tackle more. No shit. Like, oh, he missed a tackle. Or what do you think about giving up a touchdown? We need to stop them from scoring touchdowns. Like, what the fuck do you want these coaches to say? But yeah, be a little, we want to play fast and hard. We want you to play slow and lazy. Like,
yeah. What's the alternative to what you're going to say?
Yeah.
And he said he had the gall to say, which this is such a new employee because we've all been in a new employee at one point where we have that shine hasn't. We're not grizzled yet by the management and all that stuff yet.
I'm
Where
not
he
excited
said
about it.
no. So this is what he said, and like I said, these are all quotes from his press conference. So he said that that Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard have good leadership and they run a good team, and he said they are what this place stands for. What does this place stand for one? And when have you seen that Shane and Chris Ballard run? They have good leadership and they run a good team. When you have your starting quarterback tapping out, when all you got to do is audible to a run play if you're tired, and then you've got jokers like Zaire Franklin running over to the Pat McAfee booth trying to shake invisible hands, trying to be a jackass. So tell me how they're running a good team when you're allowing players to do that.
I can understand Zaire Franklin doing that if it was like, oh, they won the game to make the playoffs, and he was, oh, what'd you say, Pat McAfee? We weren't going to like. You won the last season of the game. You were eliminated last week.
Yeah.
Whoop de fucking do, dude. Like, what do you?
Right.
What did you think that you were? You looked like a jackass. And
I didn't understand that, man.
I usually defend this team, but when you start like it's like when you showboat on a sack when you're down 49-6. Like, what are you doing, dumbass?
Yeah, you shouldn't celebrate anything unless you're winning on the scoreboard, because that's the only thing you should celebrate is the win at the end of the game.
Yeah,
that's it.
Like you won the game, but the season's over. You're not going to win the playoffs. Other teams
you're down by 4 touchdowns and you got an interception. Where's Jason Garrett when you need one of these?
Yeah, it is.
Because that's all you get when you're down by 4 touchdowns and you got an interception.
Yeah, you finally did your fucking job. Good job.
Yeah, that's your job.
So I mentioned the Washington Commanders and Jane Denton, and it's just kind of shows you how quickly a turnaround can actually happen when you do the right stuff. And obviously the Commanders are in the conference championship, playing the Eagles. And I can honestly say it looks like the NFL is setting up for Eagles Chiefs. And I don't think most of us would we don't want to see.
No, because we know they're just going to give it to Patrick Mahomes again.
Yeah. And it's like, honestly, I hate Sirianni. I hate him. I hate him as the Eagles. I hate Nick Sirianni. He's such a douchebag.
Yeah.
Like there was, when Frank Reich got fired, and
he even has that douchey face.
Yeah. But the game where it was Jeff Saturday, Frank Reich got fired, and the Eagles barely beat the Colts.
Yeah.
And he comes out and he goes, this win was for Frank Reich. And you didn't hire him back to your staff. Like, this win was for Frank Reich. Like, you're in Lucas Oil. Fuck off, dude.
Yeah.
I hate, there was a bad call. Everyone knew it should have been challenged. He threw the flag and he's pointing at it like he accomplished something. Like, where's Holmes eating nachos and we knew to throw the challenge? Like, you're just a jackass. Like he has this, again, this prideful arrogance. I don't like him. Anyway, I hope the Commanders
is he going to do that against every one of his former teams? Come on. It's a business. You can't take it personally like that. Yeah, you think if they hire Robert Saleh back in San Francisco that he's going to come back in like, oh, well, you should not let me go in the first place? No. Yeah. He's going to be like, hey, thank you for the opportunity. Whatever.
He got the job back in San Francisco because he didn't act like a jackass.
Right, he was professional. You never heard him come out and speaking ill of anybody in his past.
If he had spoken ill of the
man's
Jets,
a consummate professional.
He probably wouldn't be in even a coordinator position if he had came out and bashed the Jets for firing him. He just they fired me. It's a business. It is what it is.
As somebody who used to interview new employees or potential employees, I would put like a kind of a red mark on their resume, their application, if they were talking crap about their former company, because that's what's going to happen if they leave where you're at. Mm-hmm. So as a person that you're interviewing somebody for a job, you don't want to hear that. So people like that, like coaches that are going to come in, but they just didn't understand my talent. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. Like we don't want to hear that, because especially as a head coach or a GM, and you're sitting there in that meeting room, or the owner, you're like, man, is this guy going to go somewhere else and just tell all of our secrets and talk all kind of crap about us and this and that? Because let's face it, like the reason why some players get signed to interdivisional teams and coaches is because, like, hey, what can you tell us about their team over there? What about this player? What about that player? Like that happens. You don't want it to happen, but it happens. But no,
I
like
picture like the longest yard and
Sirianni's
they're
trash.
like, you remember that scene in The Longest Yard when they're trying to figure out the guards and their injuries and their broken bones that they've had.
Oh, the medical
I
records,
kind of
yeah.
imagine something like
Yeah.
like, who's got the broken ankle? Like, but
Yeah. And see, and with Robert Saleh being brought in as a defensive coordinator, now I get it. San Francisco is a different team than Indianapolis, and he's got history there. But that goes to show, like, if you'd have backed the truck up and dumped a bunch of money at his feet, he'd show up, right? Because he's still got a defensive coordinator job.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that he wanted to be a head coach. Normally, with head coaches, now most times, now I get it, not all the time, but most times, when head coaches get let go because of poor performance, they step back down into that coordinator role to earn their way back up. Right now, sometimes there has been a time where, hey, this head coach got let go. The next year he's over with another team. That happens, right? I get it. But if Robert Saleh was going to be a defensive coordinator again, why is he not our defensive coordinator right now?
Yeah.
Like, if you get him in the building, you don't let him go.
Yeah, I don't think there's no telling if the Colts made a phone call to him. There's no idea. I never saw a single report that they reached out to him. I saw a couple of, like, Dennis Allen. I know they were looking at. There was a couple
who would be a good coordinator also.
But Saleh's name never came up. So I'm like, did they not even call this guy?
I think that's BS. If they didn't even call Robert Saleh for an interview, shame on you, Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen.
And Irsay and just shame all around.
Yeah.
It's
shame
from the, what was that, like Game of Thrones? Shame.
Yeah, shame. Just all the time.
March him around naked around Lucas Oil.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. It didn't make any sense. And I'm with you too. I don't remember seeing anything about them bringing Robert Saleh or even scheduling an interview. Because it's not like he had to ask permission. The dude, he wasn't under contract.
He was unemployed.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't hard. You could have interviewed the dude a month ago when you knew, okay, Gus Bradley's probably gonna be gone. Let's go ahead and like talk to Robert over here. Let's go have a steak, and some whiskey or something.
Yeah. Beside the point, they've got Lou, not happy about it.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope he's a great defensive coordinator. I hope he shapes the defense up. I hope Ballard changes his tune and all these things happen. But it's like, I've been saying that for a few years now, and I have no faith that it's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. I'll be more than happy.
These are the guys that they brought in, confirmed interviews. This is on A2Zsports.com. So Wink Martindale, who was the Michigan defensive coordinator. Before that, he was the defensive coordinator for the Jets. So he worked under Robert Saleh. So at least you would have that system. Dennis Allen, like we just talked about, which, Dennis Allen's proven twice now that he's not a head coach. So that's fine. You don't need him to be a head coach, but he's proved every time he's a really good defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And then Ephraim Banda, who was with the Browns. He was the Browns safety coach. I don't know if that really is a good qualification. I would never write that name on my list, but and then Steve Wilkes.
Browns pass.
Yeah. And then Steve Wilkes, who got let go by the 49ers. He was there in 2023 as their defensive coordinator. And then of course Lou, Sweet Lou got the job. But I think what
just about
really
every name on that list was better than Lou.
Yeah. Maybe not Ephraim Banda, because I do got to give Lou a little credit for the success the Bengals had with going to the Super Bowl and all that stuff. Because on a resume that if they would have won the Super Bowl, then it'd have been different. Then it's like, okay, now you have a Super Bowl winning defense coordinator.
wins championships and they didn't win. So
correct. That's correct, sir.
But let's just go ahead and pivot to the conference championship games, because I still got a little activity that I want to do. So let's go into the conference championship. Look at the Commanders and Eagles. I've already said I think I want the Commanders to win this game. I hate Nick Sirianni. I'm tired of the tush push. I'm going to say Commanders. I'm going to go with the Commanders. I'm going to say they ink out like a 20-17 win. I'm probably wrong. Eagles are probably going to win, but I hope it's the Commanders. That'd be the story, man. Jane Daniels gets the Commanders to that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And I don't have any issues with the Commanders. I don't like Sirianni with the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna be Team Washington all the way. I'll say it because my brother and my dad have been a big fan of the team for a long time. I mean, as long as I can remember, right? But I mean, HTTR, hail to the Redskins. So I'm gonna say I'm going Skins. I heard this today. The Skin Manders. There's somebody calling them the Skin Manders, but I'm going with the Skins over the Eagles. I'm with you. I would love to see that happen. Not a huge Jalen Hurts fan, just because I think he's very one-dimensional. But I think Jaden Daniels has been phenomenal, and hopefully they can keep that rolling.
Yeah, I hate the tush push. Like, I understand I hate it so much. I hate I know a lot of people do, and I don't know there's a lot of people that are like, it's part of the game. It is. I'm like, I just hate it. Like, I'm not saying they should ban it. I just hate it.
I mean, heck, line Buckner up at running back, and he'll push Anthony Richardson, and there you go. We got our own tush push.
Yeah, there you go. And pivot. I don't think I even need to ask. Bills. I'm so tired of the Chiefs, and it's not even like I hate. Like, if you watch that last game, oh fuck me, man, it was so bad. Even Troy. If you have a quarterback, whatever, there's like, oh come on,
Yeah.
Like, even he's not defending the quarterback there. Like, this is garbage. He didn't want to get fined, or he would have used harsher words. Like, he would have been like, dude, like that hit. It both times it did look like he got hit in the helmet, and both times you kind of heard the clack. So I kind of get the penalty, but they can also pick up that flag.
But that was the two Texans guys hitting each other. But Mahomes' head was down here. They were hitting here. Mahomes' head was down here.
But if you see it from a ref's perspective, they
saw
that happen and they heard the clack.
Right.
My issue is they can pick up that flag. Like, they have that replay assistance. They can pick it up. They know that Will Anderson didn't hit him in the helmet on the set or whenever he made contact. They know that they didn't hit Mahomes when he did his late slide, his bullshit where he should have just gone down.
Well, where's New York? New York, where you at? You want to change other stuff?
They didn't change it. They didn't pick up the flag. They just let it happen. And
that's because they had to look up real quick. Hey, what's the script say? Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah,
let's go with that.
And then he did that thing on the sideline where he like he was going out of bounds and then stutter stepped, waited for the defender to get close, and when the defender touched him, he did the LeBron James things. I'm like,
oh, huge flag!
I expected the flag. I'm shocked it didn't.
I think that might be something that they're starting to because that's a massive thing. Is like Mahomes is getting called out on his flopping and stuff like that. So I think they're starting to be like, okay, we're not going to call that as much when he does that, because before it was every time. No question about it. Every time they're going to get it. But I think the refs, that's one of the things that they have to say, all right, well, we got to change something or else people are going to think something's up.
Dude, if they called a flag there, like, we'd have rioted.
Yeah. Right. Because he had already taken another step, a balanced step, and then did the flop.
Yeah, he did and he thought about it and just did, like, oh my God, dude, come on, bro. Like, we're all tired of seeing, like,
reminded me of those LeBron flops that he used to do.
Do you remember? It was more of a joke. I don't even think I think it was Ocho Cinco where he was like, there was a big skirmish a big dog pile, and he pulled one of the defenders' leg, and the guy turned around and he just jumped out of it. And he got hit with the
massive flop too. It was like some WWE stuff. It was so bad.
You know that the ref was paying attention to the pile, and all of a sudden he sees this, and the player goes. So he's gonna call the flag.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that he was just fucking around. He wasn't actually trying to get a flag.
Yeah. Like anybody who's like watched Ocho Cinco, or for you old heads like me, Chad Johnson, like anybody who knows his character, they know he's just playing. Like he was just playing around. Yeah.
And then sure enough,
he got it.
The flag. My God.
Maybe that's what Mahomes did. He just like, you know what, I can get away with this. Let me just do this every time and help it out. But the fact that Andy Reid is not – like, I get it, you want to win games, right? But the fact that Andy Reid, being such an old school-minded guy, like the glory days, but then again, in the old days, them fools cheated.
Yeah.
They cheated bad. But Andy Reid, like, he's got a reputation of being a good coach and being a good person and all that stuff like that. For him to allow that and to say, Pat, stop, that's childish.
Just play the game, dude.
Right. So – Andy, maybe you need to stop trying to be friends with Pat, and just tell him, hey, stop doing stuff like that because you're making it.
And I'm sorry, like I know that Patrick Mahomes is a talented quarterback. I know he's one of the best.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I understand all of this. But, like, when he complained at the end of that Bills game where the wide receiver was clearly lined up offsides, they called offsides, offensive offsides on him. And all he did was bitch when he walked up to Josh Allen. He's like, "It's bullshit. That's the worst call." I'm like, dude, you get every fucking call. And they finally flagged you for a penalty that your team committed. And you're going to bitch like that's why you lost.
Right.
Like, I lost every ounce of respect that I could have had for Mahomes at that moment. So, like, I know he's talented. And like that attitude that –
yeah,
I know you've won Super Bowls. I understand. Like that's something that every person that plays football, that's what they want. You've hit the pinnacle of football. That's what you strive to do. He had my respect there, but that attitude that he's got of like he's like doesn't really have to earn it. Like we should have just won this game because I'm Patrick Mahomes. Like,
well, and that kind of makes me think like they've told you you're the golden child right now. Like you're the league, which I get it.
Tom Brady.
I mean, I get it. He is the league right now. Okay, I understand that. I live in the real world. I watch the commercials. Like I understand, but the fact that has gone to your head and you think you're better than the rest of the league, like, nah, bro. I'm sorry. And for that reason, I'm going with the Bills.
Yep.
Come on, Bills Mafia. Let's get it. I want to see Bills, and I want to see the Skin Manders in the Super Bowl.
Skin Manders. Yeah. Yeah. No, like, raise your hand if you want to see, like, 98 minutes of Taylor Swift shots.
God, shoot me now.
Yeah. Fucking no one. No one wants. Like, there's a reason that she's not performing the halftime show because she's already going to be there drawing whatever Swifties. Like,
and you don't just get Taylor Swift, you get Brittany Mahomes and her psycho eyes. Like, we don't want that, man.
Tell me. Okay, I'm going to go on like a conspiracy theory. You know, the difference between a conspiracy theory and reality is about 6 months. But tell me that this shit isn't manufactured. So in the last Chiefs game, Taylor Swift was in the booth and acting like besties with Caitlin Clark. These two girls are in totally different universes. She just came out of college and she's in the WNBA.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift is a singer-performer who I doubt writes her own same songs. And they're in two totally different planets. They have no reason to talk to one another at all.
Right.
And here they are in the booth hugging like they're BFFs. Like, what the fuck am I watching? It's a manufactured Hollywood shit that they kept popping on the screen once in a while during the game.
Well, and even politically, they're different too because they both endorse different candidates. Yeah. And so it's like, what?
No reason.
What are they, like 15 years apart in age? Like, they don't have life experience, like shared life experience, other than being like national spotlight. That's it, you know.
They had no reason to be in the same booth together. It made no sense.
Right.
Manufactured shit just to bring up viewers.
Yeah, right. I mean, they love Caitlin Clark. Don't get me wrong, but Clark. Should you be giving Caitlin Clark like her own suite at Lucas Oil? Hell yeah. Because the girl, right? She puts butts in the seats. But to put her next to Taylor Swift, come on, man. You know, Brittany Mahomes is mad about that.
Oh yeah, Brittany didn't get any airtime.
Nope, she was mad.
she was probably in the back of the booth. Yeah, Eric Jackson said agents. Yeah, like I said, it's manufactured. It's just to boost up everything that they're doing. It's to boost album sales. It's to boost merch sales. Like it's all manufactured. I'm tired of seeing it. Can we just watch Patrick Mahomes flop all game? Can we just get back to that?
Yeah. Well, don't now correct me if I'm wrong, but the past Super Bowl performers, didn't they do that like right before dropping like a new album or a tour or something like that?
Well,
like I feel like that was part of a promotion thing. Yeah, I don't care. They don't care
get
at all.
Paid to perform at the Super Bowl. They get all their money off of merch, album sales, streams, shit like that. They don't make any money playing the Super Bowl. They make a fuckload of money because they performed at the Super Bowl.
Yes, but exactly.
Yeah, that's and I'm fine with it. I'm okay with that. It's just the reason why, and I don't want her performing the Super Bowl halftime show either. But the reason that she's not is because they're already getting the viewership off of her just for being in attendance. They
Yeah,
can have a
yeah.
whole nother draw
You're
at the
getting
halftime
the
show.
Swifties watching the Chiefs games just to get one
Yeah,
glimpse of Taylor Swift,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is
And it's
weird. Like, come on, man. It's not like you're meeting her in person,
yeah, it's
but
they're
the whole environment around the Chiefs, I'm out on. Like
yeah.
and Travis Kelce. God, don't get me started on that. That dude. Anyways, but yeah, I'm pulling for a Bills, Commanders, Redskins, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
Bills,
And of course,
Commandos.
I'm going Washington all the way. I want Washington to win now. Now that the Lions got thrown out, I really wanted the Lions to win because they have never won, man. And this was such a great team that they put together.
I think I'm with you there, man. Like I think if it is the Commanders and the Bills, like yeah, Commanders. That would be like the story, man. Shane Daniels comes in. They say, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I talked too much shit about Josh Allen in the past. Like, he was a red zone turnover machine. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, I caught so much heat on Twitter or X or whatever because when I did my preseason fantasy football for quarterbacks, my rankings, like how I expect them to finish at the end of the season, I had Tua above Josh Allen, and I explained myself. I did that because Tua had so many weapons and Josh Allen didn't, and that's what I was going off of, right? But of course, we see Josh Allen can just be the offense, right? I'm sure if you put him on defense, he'll get a couple sacks too. I don't know, but I took so much heat on that. So Bill's Mafia tried to come after me. I told him, like, look, I've got Josh Allen number 6, right? But looking back, I don't think I can ever count out Josh Allen ever again, even if he doesn't have weapons, especially in fantasy, right?
Yeah.
And of course, I guess in real football, but. Yeah, I took some heat over that too, but I never said he was bad. I had him one spot underneath Tua. So.
I had so much heat. We even did a short about I don't think Stephon Diggs is a diva, and I said I felt like there were times where Josh Allen was actively trying to not throw to Stephon Diggs, and there were times in games where this dude is running wide open and he would not look his way, and I had both of them in fantasy football. I went for the Diggs Allen combo. Ooh. So I'm sitting there like watching Bills games, and I'm like, "Will you fucking throw to Diggs?" Like,
you were hating it. You were hating life
so
right there.
And I'm like, there was one time he had a stat line in it. In the second half, he got more targets, but he went into halftime with no targets, no reception, or he had 1 target, no receptions, 1 rush for 1 yard. That was his stat line going into halftime. I'm like, shoot me now. So yeah, I took a lot of heat for that, and I'm like, but there were times where he did do stretches like that where he would not look at him, and it was infuriating. But I think it's time to do my little activity.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Let me do this here. Share screen. The way too early mock draft.
Oh, yay. Okay. All right. Kind of caught me off guard here.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't tell him I was going to do this before I pulled it up.
How is yeah. I have no clue about this. So how's this going to work? Are we going to pick? We're going to take turns, or how's it going to go?
I think we can do like a consensus.
Oh, okay.
Pick.
Okay.
It's going to randomly do. We're just picking for the Colts because that would take forever. So I'm going to go ahead and start it.
Well, I only got 2 names that on my list.
I just want to see.
Is it going fast? When it gets to the Colts before we pick, can we? Yeah. Okay. So
we don't have it. We're not on a timer. So
that's
saying that the Titans go Cam Ward at quarterback, Shadur going to the Browns. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Oh, Dion's gonna be so mad about that. Malachi Starks. Oh, what? Oh, yeah. No, I hope he doesn't go that early.
He's ranked, I think 7th in PFF. So he's probably going to go top 10.
Saints, which they needed.
Mm-hmm. Will Campbell, tackle.
James Pierce, Will Campbell. Dang, that's a good one. Will tackle. Kelvin Banks too. Oh man, Kelvin Banks would be great to bring in.
I'm like here. I'm like I don't want, obviously we don't want need halfback. We don't need an edge.
So looking at PFF, they have tight end, edge, and defensive back. So that's good. So that's exactly what we were saying earlier. Is the positions that we need to look at.
I don't know why it says edge. Good. I don't agree with that.
I don't
assessment.
agree with that either.
I don't agree with that.
They're thinking that Latu isn't like a full-time starter yet, and that's maybe why.
Well,
But
I blame Gus Bradley.
or maybe EJ Speed, if they're counting EJ Speed as an edge rusher. I don't, but
No.
okay. So it's
the two I'm looking at here are Tyler Warren and Benjamin Morrison. I think that's way too early just based on where you're sitting. I don't like going tackle here, even though I said our offensive line could use a boost. I don't like it.
If Kelvin Banks was there, then I'd go Kelvin Banks,
I'm
no
looking
doubt
Tyler Warren.
about it. Yeah, I like the Tyler Warren pick here. Who else do they have best available right now?
Let's see.
Okay, obviously not Genty.
Yeah, Mike Green. I don't think we need an edge.
Yeah, Tyler Warren's definitely the best fit.
Josh,
only because
like
Kelvin Banks and Malachi Starks are taken already.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go.
Is this the full or just the first round?
I did full 7 rounds.
Hell yeah!
But it'll speed through it. So it
cool.
Bear with us, 20 of our viewers.
Bengals, Ashton Genty. Wow, okay. Jack Sawyer. Nice.
Everybody
that's watching right now, though. Hey, look, we have a mission this year. All right, we're gonna try and break 100 by July, and we're gonna try and get 150 by December.
Yeah,
so help your boys out. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe. Go ahead and share it. If you like what we're saying, cool, hit it up. If not, cool, hit it up and then never watch again. And look, it doesn't help us out. We don't make money off this. We're doing this purely because we love you guys and we love football and we love Colts football.
Mm-hmm.
So help your boys out. So who do we got next? We got?
I said linebacker. There's one from Alabama right there. I'm not taking an edge.
National championship Buckeyes though.
Yeah. Still, man, another edge.
Gunnar Helm. Oh man, you could have got Gunnar Helm in the second. Gunnar Helm was pretty good. He's no Tyler Warren, but he's pretty good tight end, man.
Fuck it, let's do both. We shouldn't have any of these tight ends on here next year anyway.
Just clean house. Can you imagine? Just go double tight. Gunnar Helm, freaking Tyler Warren, run it. Like Gunnar Helm is a man playing against boys. Like that's a massive individual right there.
I'm not liking a lot of this though, based on what's there. I'm looking
Caleb Johnson. That's going to be so. Any of you fantasy football fans out here, especially you dynasty guys and girls, Caleb Johnson, somebody we're going to be talking about. That dude's a monster. He's so good. He scored really high in his film, and we'll be going over that too. So I like Caleb Johnson. We don't need him. Obviously, we got Jonathan Taylor. I'm not saying we shouldn't get a running back in like the 5th, 6th, or 7th if a good one falls, just as a backup, because I think we kind of noticed our backups are dog poo poo.
Yeah.
So outside of Jonathan Stewart, we were not doing well on the ground.
See, I'm thinking linebacker here, honestly.
I'm with you. I think that's going to be a good pick if he goes Jihad Campbell.
Maybe safety.
Those are really good numbers right there. I mean, Xavier Watts.
Yeah.
Only because that's a big need is the reason I would go secondary, because it's a passing league, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm in agreement. I think I would go because there's no corners right here. I mean, we could probably get the same corner later. So I'm liking safety here in Notre Dame. I like it. Let's go safety. I know PFF isn't going to like it. I don't give a shit.
They can shove it.
I wonder what grade we're going to get on this. And I want to give a shout out to Isaiah Michelli on 3rd and Teal over there with the Glitter Kitties. He's actually the one that kind of gave me the lock-in for PFF to do all this. So he gets a special shout out.
Hey, thank you, Isaiah. Thank you, Isaiah. Hey, and something else that would be good about Xavier Watts, like if they were to try and bring him in, is like he's already in Indiana. You know, like going to Notre Dame. So it's not like it's a far drive for him. He can just get his beanbag chair and all his ramen noodles and just come on down to Indianapolis.
And right now I'm looking corner.
Devin Neal's still there. How about that? So corner. What do we got here? All righty.
I was looking at him. Thomas. I don't hate it.
No, it looks really good.
Yeah.
And then
Ooh,
so we already grabbed a safety. Okay, so he did amazing against Kentucky, but that's not saying much.
Oh yeah, Eric hates that glitter kitties.
Judkins is still there. Wow, no glitter kitties.
Edge, yeah. I'm liking corner here.
I'm with you on that one.
Okay,
Because I mean, our big glaring need right now is on our defense with second.
And see, you know what? We hit tight end, we hit safety, we hit corner. I still don't agree with PFF saying we need an edge. I know that sacks were not bountiful for the Colts, but at the same time, we had Gus Bradley, so
I
don't think
blitzes weren't what he's known for, so we can't get stuck on that one.
I don't think that's a position to need. Ooh, no, Will Howard, let's pick quarterback.
Never hurts to have an option. Have another option.
Yeah. Center, I think we're good. Backup wise, David Walker. Maybe go linebacker here.
So something they don't have on here, I think they're not taking into account, is offensive line. Now I know in the 4th round that's a little late to be getting a top guy. Yeah. So you can't bring Quinn in this year and then bring in Arch in next year for the starting job. It's like a nightmare that never stops for Quinn Ewers. He'll come in, he'll play 1 or 2 games, and then they'll draft Arch, and he'll be the guy in 2026. He's like, damn, I lost my job again.
But I mean, like,
the same guy.
Like, they did say they wanted to bring in competition.
Yes.
I think at this place, he's a steal.
Will Howard has a name recognition, plus coming off a natty win. Okay, like, I get it at the beginning, like, he wasn't like a huge name, but the kid's made a name for himself. Like, I don't think he's going to be like a starter in the league. I don't. But he can come in and potentially grow and develop, learn the NFL game, and take over. Let
me ask you this. Even if he's not ready to start, Anthony Richardson, he's going to get the start, whatever. I don't want another 40-year-old quarterback, Joe Flacco. I don't want to do it again. Like, I don't want Rodgers sailing down the river. Like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll have a 23-year-old Anthony Richardson, and then we'll have a rookie.
So going back to the famous year where we drafted Andrew Luck, the second guy after Andrew Luck, RG3. Who else? And he was going to be their saving grace. But with a heads-up play, they said, hey, in case this doesn't work out, let's go ahead and take Kirk Cousins out of Michigan State. That worked out like a dream.
Yeah.
So taking another quarterback as a backup plan, and that's a year they took quarterback 2nd overall. So there's nothing wrong with already having your quote unquote guy while the GM's still in the building, and then go ahead and taking a Will Howard in the 4th round just now. So dude, if you can get Will Howard in the 4th round, now I get it. This is a very light quarterback class. Like, I get it, guys. Okay, don't bite my head off. Don't come at me on that. I get it. But Will Howard in the 4th round is a steal.
Yeah. I guess I'll look edge here for depth.
What do we got available? Braden Swinson. Yeah, he's not bad. I mean, he's like kind of an average guy. Jared Wilson. I mean, coming from that program, I mean,
edge, David Walker. That's oof.
I mean, I don't. So I know the draft always kind of leans toward successful college teams, so like Georgia, Ohio State. Those would be like your big guys, right? Your big teams.
Yeah.
So an offensive lineman, they get the biggest and the baddest offensive linemen. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not lowballing Iowa by any means. Iowa always seems to put out some corn-fed boys.
Yeah, tight end.
Yeah, yeah. Tight ends, usually the best ones come out of Notre Dame and Iowa.
I'm looking at you, Dallas Clark.
Hey, Dallas, fofo. They should have retired that number so Zaire doesn't tarnish it. I mean, so my vote here is going to be offensive line, but I'm good with whatever you want to do. In the 5th, if we can still get a guy, because look at that projected rank, 102 at center, right? And then we're already at 152. So that's already a steal, but I don't.
I like these numbers though.
Ed Walker.
And this showed me that he stays healthy.
Yeah, and this could be another Khalil Mack situation. I mean, he came from a small school.
Yeah,
and I think he's had arguably a Hall of Fame career.
I'm gonna go edge. So our defense was terrible.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. So look at the picks again. Click on your picks. All right, so we're looking at Tyler Warren, so that seals up the tight end room. Xavier Watts, secondary. So we went secondary twice. That's good. And we got some big names there, so we don't have a bunch of busters. Will Howard, solid backup quarterback. David Walker had really good numbers. So I'm liking how this is shaping up, man. This is looking really good.
Where are we at? There we are. So we are in the 6th round. Center, and he's still there. So we were able to go a whole nother round, and he's still sitting there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. You got to go with him, dude. And God, that's a steal. That's got to be steal of the draft right there. And like coming from Georgia, he's had the best training, like the best facilities, the best coaching that college can offer. So, I mean, I feel pretty good about that one. That's good. That's a steal. Let's see if any surprising names. Tonka, that's an awesome name for a football player. His name's Tonka. Brew McCoy, I know that name. He's not really a killer, but who we got? Oh, we could have got Jackson Dart as a backup. That's not bad. Not bad. Linebackers, tight end.
Linebacker, interior.
Shiloh Sanders.
Shiloh Sanders.
hey, you got to bring in Shiloh just because his daddy is Dion, man.
It's going to give me such a low grade if I take a second safety.
Now, viewers, we're not saying Shiloh is going to be Dion. We're not saying that, okay?
But you're saying there's a chance.
But if you want to talk about it, hit me at Kingmaker_DFF on whatever platform you want, and we'll talk about it.
I'll go linebacker late. This seems like a Ballard pick here to go linebacker in the 7th for some reason.
Yeah.
44. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Is that Teddy or Tedier?
Tedier.
It's like Dirte. Like, don't try and fancy it up. Dirt. It's like, what's your name? Tedier. You mean Ted? Teddy?
What'd we get?
Come on. Let's go A-. A- here. Come on.
Let's see. Where is it at?
What does it say? What's that say up there?
A-.
Boom. It says M Green has a higher potential rank. Okay, we don't care though. It's not.
It wanted us to go edge over time. Like,
okay. No. Well, you can hit them with the DX and suck it. I love that. That looks so good.
It said we needed an edge, but it gives me a C+ when I went edge. It loved my Will Howard pick in round 4.
Oh yeah, I bet. Where's that Jared Wilson A? All right, good.
Yeah.
If that wasn't the steal right there, look at that. Projected 102, got him at 189. That's amazing. That's what you want to see right there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Move over, Chris Ballard. Man. Jeff's in the
hizzy. Oh yeah. This is awesome. Dude, we should try and do something like this. So on one of my schedules and stuff for the fantasy football is I had mock draft Mondays. Now I know there's other places that they do mock draft Mondays, but that's something that I want to start, and I want to see if you want to be involved with that. That way we can look at not just Colts, but fantasy football stuff too.
Yeah,
like looking at rookie for the incoming rookie class.
Yeah, and we could. I know we can do like a mock draft. We can do the whole first round, not just the Colts. We control every team.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot we can play with here on this mock draft too. So there's definitely an opportunity to do stuff when there's nothing going on in the off season.
Yeah. So all you people watching the video, so something you don't understand, like, yes, we're doing a Colts show, right? But we also are very in tune with every team around the league. Okay. So you want to tune into that stuff because we might have some insights that you may not know if you follow other teams. So come on in. We'll do those mock drafts. We'd love to have your interaction. Hey, who would you like to take at this selection? Things like that, and we'll see where it falls. So definitely make sure you hit that notification bell for when we go live and be a part of the show.
Yeah, for sure. We always like the interaction, but I think it's a good time to wrap it up. Wrap it before you tap it. I think it's a good point to stop. It's getting late. Got work early in the morning, so we'll let you go. Make sure you jam on that like, share, subscribe. Help us out. Help us get to 100, and then hopefully 1,000 soon.
It doesn't cost you anything to tap that thing, guys.
Nothing.
Come on.
We're not charging you anything yet. We do have a merch shop. Okay.
Oh.
Just do the Peter with the violin. Give me money, give me money, give me money. No, but,
exactly.
But yeah, we'll see y'all next time. Thanks for joining us. We'll probably recap the Super Bowl next week, or I'm sorry, the championship round next week. But yeah, make sure you be on the lookout for us. We'll see y'all next time. Y'all be good people.
All right, later.
See y'all next time.